Sorry, can you say it again?
Polling statistics show 10% drop supporting current government after mass distribution.
The supporters for Prime Minister Abe.
Yeah. But actually,
Approval rate.
Japanese people know none of aggressive action for the government, none of people. But if you're going to have a look at YouTube, many against opinion on the YouTube, but of course several direct members against the government decision, but direct members just only keen for their voters,
Right.
So they are neglecting ordinary people's opinion.
They are there to basically get a seat at the table and to get a salary and be paid. They're professional politicians, but not really.
So Japanese is very maybe America is the same. Japanese very keen for their voters, support.
Right.
And instead of what they're going to rising or wrongdoing.
I think that's probably true for most countries in the world, but in Japan that reflects there's no way that we could see, for example, a Bernie Sanders or a Donald Trump to come to the surface in Japan. They're too radical, they're too outspoken in their ideas. I don't think that there is a place for a politician like that. So Japan doesn't really believe that supporting an outsider will bring any good to Japan. So I think in that respect they're a little bit different from European voters who now clearly more directed towards the out of the middle politicians, because they feel that some change is needed. I don't see that happening in Japan. They still feel that let's stay in the middle of the road, and maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's more. We need to be more worried about getting to the side of the road and taking a turn. Why don't we just go straight?
Maybe you understand. Do you know the background for they switching from limited distribution for 300,000 to everybody distribution 100,000, and they switching that. Even they made the government acceptance through the Congress, but they changed it because why? Because even if many against opinion for 300,000 for limited distribution, but other government neglected. But why turn to the 100,000 for the everybody distribution method? Because of the Komeito against him. Komeito is religious society.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't understand. This is one opinion. Okay? Every supporting organization is Komeito, is religion people.
Minority partner, right?
Yes. So this is everybody against. So this head of Komeito is tell to the Abe need to change switching to the 300,000 limited to 100,000 for everybody. This is do you know the history, right?
That's very
Yeah. So this is majority of people against against majority people opinion against Abe, but Abe don't need to listen to them.
Right.
But Komeito is different. They have I don't know how many supporting for this party, but more than
quite a few.
10,000, right? So everyone against. So government need to change direction.
But go back to.
So let me try to clarify. Let me one point.
Who were those Japanese people who were brave and bold enough to actually don't listen to the majority, don't have to do nemawashi, but just go ahead and push their own political agenda? Who were they, and who are these people today in today's Japan?
Oh, this is a good question. It's the same as 100 years ago. Who are the responsible person that made decision? 100 years ago, also nobody knows. Now is Abe making decision? Nobody knows. This is Japanese political system. Japanese not political organization system. This is somewhat, maybe somebody make a decision. I don't know. I don't know. This is not Abe doesn't make this. Like obvious thing is Abe decided 300,000 support limited people supporting method for the money distribution. This is not Abe did not decide by himself. He just asked his follower to thinking about what kind of distribution method is more suitable, and the government official or some person is considered for to give this idea, and he followed their recommendation. So not he himself. Trump cases, Trump decided by himself, right?
Yes.
He ordered what you should do like that. But Abe had no idea, Just this time 100,000 also not his idea. He just followed the
Trump is not
decision.
strong enough to decide everything by himself.
It means
So he's
it means he's obviously fool, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Abe no mask is fool. Do you know who's going to make this mask? No, nobody, government official never tell the truth. So some people leaking the information, but this is crazy. So those people were well established and rich, and they have history, 150 years of history, and they come from down south to Tokyo. Taro also is the same. Rich people. They don't understand ordinary people, or maybe they different people, different world people. I look like I think. So this is what I don't understand. How come who's going to make the decision? Actually, at this time, Abe discarded his responsibility and asked to his followers, and his followers proposed him, and he just accepted. And as soon as he accepted, everybody need to accept him, because that members and people against him, he will losing his future. This is their threat, right?
Problem. Abe is officially not regarded as doing something wrong, because Abe decided to make the balance between the Jiminto and Komeito. So he's not. Yeah, it's not easy to say Abe is making a decision something wrong, but if someone is saying the decision, the outcome of the decision is not matching to the situation. So he's not doing something necessary. Why he's not doing something wrong, but as a result, the situation is not getting better. So this is not what politician is expected to do. So it's like I would say it's omission, advanced omission. So in this case, for example, even in a company, it's not clear who is having the responsibility. And the situation will go wrong, extremely wrong, but nobody have to take that responsibility. So the company is left in the air.
It means he tried to escape his responsibility, right?
So it's going to be unclear who made decision that caused something wrong. So our civilian control doesn't hold the power accountable.
No.
Doesn't work.
No.
So this is a history of
but there are no Ronin, like there are no independent leaders at the moment, like they were in the 1930s, that were strong enough to actually make decisions on their own without asking everybody else's opinion and then act upon it. Are there still these kinds of people? who were they in the first place? These young officers, they were descendants of the daimyo, or what? Who were these military young officers?
They are top brasses came from the same as politicians. Very famous houses. Yes, many people they come from.
So that's from the remote area, the daimyo, the stronger daimyos.
Yes, at that time
there were sons and daughters, or
some people not, but many people who came from southern part of Japan.
I think they are ordinary people.
Yeah, like one exception is Shibagoro. He just come from the shogunate area,
right?
And northern part of came from northern part. Usually, famous top brass is came from southern part of Japan. They won against it at the battle. Current top level of politician is came from southern part of Japan. But the different exception is politician recently dead, very famous person is Nakasone. He's not come from southern part. He's northern part.
Yeah, but how about the people, young officer who killed the senior and famous politician in
1930s, right? Who are they? I don't know. They at that time, now is defense forces, they are not accepted by ordinary people, so they do not do they can't walking around with their uniform, right, in downtown. So it's kind of environment they have, so they don't against government. They clearly speak out military power. But before 100 years ago, those people, many people had a strong opinion for the military action. And government and military is balancing, right? So they are different opinion. They decide to kill the government officer. But those people is just only the very eager to how to protect their country, like the same. The military mindset is same as now and before 100 years ago. Very strong mindset they have, and they try to protect their country with their life, right? So they are strong commitment for the country. But currently now is even they have same mind, they cannot against politicians because in Japan, defense forces are not formally accepted by ordinary people. So they can't make any action against the government. If they're going to do something, everybody against the military people. So this is different.
Right. This is something that Abe, Prime Minister Abe would support, right? To give to transform the self-defense forces into a regular army.
Yeah, of course. He understands how to protect our country. This is the common sense. But Japanese people, ordinary people, 70 years education, just teachers tell them, you discard war forever, sort of thing. And this is kind of Switzerland. So Japan will going to protect it. This is wrong thinking. They just preparing, especially for women. Right? The woman is wife is the strong educated. They are everybody say no weapon. But they educated. This is wrong. They if no weapon, this is we're going to be invaded like a South China Sea or invaded Senkaku Island and Takeshima Island, invaded. And finally, China will going to take Okinawa in some future. So need to protect your country. So many people do not understand how defense force is so important. But politicians understand,
So it's like Japan is so diverse, too much diverse.
Oh, yes.
We divided.
Yes, many left side people.
So it's like not us who divided the country.
These teachers association. Teachers are leftist teachers association. They did that. And in Japan, just only one country, they have so many leftist people. Leftist people, also rightists, we have both. So, like if you can write down the true history in Japanese, right wing people attack them, left wing people attack them. So cannot tell the truth.
But there is no such thing as true history. History is always written from the perspective of somewhere.
Japan is very exception. Japan is very exception. It's never kind of happened. Like Asahi Shimbun, he supported China.
So can you see
he supported the comfort women. They supported.
The similar case of course.
In your country, for example, in Japan, even among Japanese, they are completely opposite opinion. That someone is saying Japanese were completely wrong without any justification, but the other side is saying we are doing completely right. We are not doing anything wrong.
Right.
So
I think that it also exists in Western countries. People have very diverse opinions. I don't think that there is a tendency to say we are completely right, but we are completely wrong, definitely.
No, it's different. It's just have a look. Japanese teachers never standing up at the national anthem. National anthem. They hate Japanese national anthem and Japanese flag.
Because they don't agree with the Japanese politics.
No, they don't agree. Japan identity. They don't want to be Japanese. They are much more influenced by leftist people. And just after the World War II, there are many people, Teachers Association, believe they were going to be occupied by Russia. It's crazy. Still kind of history is continuing on 70 years. So Abe said before, they want to replace 10,000 teachers replacing for the other people. And,
but what do they want? They wanted to have the Russian occupation.
It's simply saying they like communists. They believe communist world, like Marx, Lenin kind of world. They're going to future world.
Okay, but if you put it that in the historical perspective, that was the same as true everywhere, especially in Europe. There were a lot of the Socialist Party was very influential.
Very bad influence for young people.
Well, but I mean, seriously, the Socialist Party is one of the major parties in the Netherlands at the moment. At the moment, they are a little bit less, but they have been ruling the country almost half of the time.
No, your recognition level is drastically different. Japan is a terrible situation now, and this is big, more big, problem we have. Education is almost collapsed. Memorizing is okay, but they don't have kind of Japanese morale and Japanese identity, and they have some strong strange sort of things. Not young people.
Well, I must agree that, but what we saw is just how somebody edited a movie with young people, millennials, interviewed in the streets, giving their opinion about Japanese history. If those were Dutch people, I would worry. I would worry a lot about the state of education. And
I didn't say that. Do you know that Japanese teacher intentionally tried to not to teach after 1850? Intentionally. Right. They don't give the information about Russian Japan and China-Japan
Right,
war.
but the interesting part is that it shouldn't this be in the curriculum? Shouldn't this be mandatory?
They don't want to rebuild the U.S.-Japan war. What happened? They don't want to teach them.
Yeah, and the class is made according to the contents on the textbook. And some agencies managing the contents of the textbook. Then sometimes there were a big debate whether this point of history should be written in the textbook or it shouldn't be there. So it's been controlled before the teacher teaches the class in the class.
Oh, you are the same.
Right.
My age,
Right.
half century ago, the same. They try not to teach what happened U.S.-Japan war.
Right. The difference in the Dutch education is that actually there is no prescribed curriculum in terms of books that are being prescribed. It's up to every school to buy materials that they want. So there's no like government regulated version of the truth.
No, really.
Okay, we need to have history books, we need to have geography books, we need to have math books, but nothing is prescribed.
Really. Okay, by the way, today is we're going to finish now.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And we will continue next Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think this is a very big. Yes.
Thank you very much for joining.
Just a moment. This is very big issues for you. Ed, you never discuss about those area, and you studied background is Dutch education background, so you have different ideas compared with all of us. I think this is very important to make consensus among what's the difference, what's the same opinion, and this is very big issue for. I think a very good benefit for you.
Yeah, I wonder how what the extent of the difference.
One good example, for example, good example is your Japanese friend never talking about kind of issues because most of people they do not know.
You're talking about education or?
No, so I just I saw this is a very strange things happening in Japan. So I did study Japanese history and Korean Chinese history, and I wrote 2 books. So I know because based upon all material in English, not Japanese. Japanese is biased, so very difficult to judge this is true or not. So I wrote English materials a lot. Then I wrote 2 books. So this is I try to be neutral instead of left side, right side. So I think you can get some sort from me. What kind of normally idea we should have for the World War II, or we should have colonialization and sort of thing. I think we can share the information next several weeks. It's good for us. Okay.
Okay.
Yuba, thank you very much for joining us. Okay. Yuba, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Are you happy?
Yeah, but the topic is very complicated, so this is important.
Okay. So see you Saturday for we're going to step forward something
Yes.
for about these issues. Okay. Takashi, okay.
Takashi, 気をつけて.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Yeah.